For Hot Ticket this week, we are joined by globally renowned tenor Michael Fabiano, who's currently starring in Verdi's Il Trovatore at the Royal Ballet and Opera here in London. It's an absolute honour to have you here, Michael. Thank you so much and welcome to Showcase.
Privileged to be here.
Tell us about Il Trovatore, because I'm personally a massive fan of La Traviata, but I don't know anything about Il Trovatore.
Well, it's a good one to start with, Traviata.
Yeah.
Verdi wrote 3 operas in succession, roughly 3 in a 3-year period: La Traviata, Rigoletto, and Il Trovatore. And Trovatore is the 3rd of the trilogy, more or less. Basically, in very short order, a mother is avenging her own mother's death, who was another witch. She threw accidentally the wrong child into a fire, who ends up being me, a warrior. She ends up raising me, but I was the son of her enemy, not realizing it. She has horrible thoughts about this, and ultimately into the opera, everyone dies, basically.
Wow.
And that's opera in itself. And it's the least distinguished story of the 3, but probably has the best music of the 3. Musically, it contains music and themes that we hear in film and television shows all the time.
A lot of these, well, particular Verdi operas, they're sung in Italian. How important are languages as an opera singer?
First of all, I speak Spanish and Italian fluently. I would say to people that are curious about opera, though, or people that don't know a lot about opera, don't worry about the language barrier. When I go to an opera, I listen for intent through the music. I don't need to understand every word that's being sung, because a musical line will always convey emotion. And if you can feel emotion through sound, you don't need to know every word. And that's what I would encourage anyone that's going to opera to think about.
Let's talk about the greats, the great tenors of past and present.
Sure.
Pavarotti, Placido Domingo, Carreras, and current, Andrea Bocelli. Who has influenced you or inspired you the most out of all of the greats?
There are many, and so there are very old tenors that people in my generation don't even speak about much. Aureliano Pertile, for instance, 20s and 30s. Giacomo Lauri Volpi, Franco Corelli, Mario del Monaco, for instance. All those guys are my heroes because they have a much closer connection to the composers themselves, knew what their intentions were when they wrote the music. So I look to those people, the generation before the ones you just mentioned, because they were closer to what it really was.
You are now considered one of the greats, one of the great tenors globally. Where did your journey begin? How did you get into opera?
First, my family has always been musical. I have both parents that love to sing. My grandmother was a concert pianist. My godmother was an opera singer. I have pianists on both sides of my family, instrumentalists on both sides of my family. When I endeavored to go to college, university, I thought I was going to do business. And I took music lessons at the University of Michigan, and my first teacher said to me, "Mr. Fabiano, do you realize the talent that you have?" I said, No, I don't know. And his answer was, when a person is imbued with a talent at your level, they have a moral responsibility to share their talent, or they're a bad citizen.
Oh, wow.
And to hear that as an 18-year-old is
pressure.
severe. Oh yeah, no kidding, pressure is right. But you know what? I take moral imperatives very seriously. And I lived up to that. And I decided, you know what? If I have a talent, I'm going to work on it, curate it, create a business plan around it, and drive towards a goal. And that's precisely what I did.
And Michael, your voice is sensational. Let's have a listen. How do you warm up for these massive performances day after day after day?
I equate what we do as opera singers as what bodybuilders do. Bodybuilders have to train effectively every single day of the week in various ways. When you watch a really famed bodybuilder, though, they're not going full hog at the gym crazy. They're maintaining. They're doing maintenance. What I have in my throat are just two little muscles, two little pieces of flesh that come together. In order to be able to get on the stage, which I will do later tonight, I have to maintain them at an optimal level, which means sing every day, 30 minutes to 60 minutes on the days that I don't perform, lightly, keep it maintained, keep it hydrated. I drink about 1 gallon of water a day, which is 3.5 liters of water a day. And I treat my life with respect. I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't go to loud places ever. People might think it's really boring, but again, my responsibility is to serve my music, which thus serves the public.
So, Michael, now you are considered as one of the great tenors. How is that as a sense of responsibility to opera as a whole?
I feel the august privilege to commit myself to doing my very best work at all costs. I definitely am committed to showing the public how important this art form is, trying to engage audiences to see why this is such a veritable art form and something that should continue for eternity, honestly.
Right, Michael, just before we go, we've got a little game that we like to play with some of our guests.
I
You
like
up
games.
for it? Okay, it's called This or That.
Okay.
And the winner stays on.
Oh, God.
Okay. Starting with Maria Callas or Placido Domingo?
Maria Callas.
Maria Callas or Joan Sutherland?
Maria Callas.
Maria Callas or Andrea Bocelli?
Maria Callas.
Maria Callas or Enrico Caruso?
Enrico Caruso.
Enrico Caruso or Renata Tebaldi?
Renata Tebaldi.
Renata Tebaldi or Jessie Norman?
Renata Tebaldi.
Renata Tebaldi or Luciano Pavarotti?
Renata Tebaldi.
Oh, Renata Tebaldi wins!
Yeah, good.
It's been such a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for talking to us here on Showcase.
Appreciate it. Thank you.